Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Yinzer Brothers podcast. I'm TJ. I'm here with my brother Tim, and we are the Yinzer Bros. And Tim is donning the Mason Rudolph victory face maskless helmet with the Franco's Italian Army hard hat from the 70s. Quite a combination, Tim. Tim, does that helmet get tighter every week?
No, I think it's getting bigger. My head's making it expand
That's good. You do have a large melon. We are fresh
because I
off
know,
the
I know, I know
Steelers.
this cat isn't losing any weight. I know that. I can tell you that.
That's true. What'd you have for dinner tonight, Tim?
A hero. I could feel the MSG just sinking through me. I mean, it's funny.
Yeah.
My wife. This is how my wife just talked to me about 25 minutes ago. We got a big snowstorm coming tomorrow. She looked at me. She goes, "Hey, should I run out after we put Olivia to bed to get some food for us?" I look at her. I go, "Food for us?" I go, Let's break this down, TJ. I'm not an outdoor cat anymore. I'm an indoor cat. I'm an old cat.
Yeah,
I got no
that's true.
claws anymore.
That's true.
You could sit somebody here, the most hungriest person in the world, they could live in this house fine with food for about 2 years. I looked at her, I go, we need food. As we just got in, I'm not lying, there's 12 boxes of Girl Scout cookies in here today. They just came in today.
12 boxes. What's your Girl Scout cookie of choice, Tim?
Mine?
Yeah.
The Samoans. I'm already 2/3 of a box deep. I just opened them up I opened them up at it's 8 o'clock. I opened them up at 6. I have
Oh my gosh.
there was one row left in the Samoans box.
Oh my gosh, Tim, that's
Do
that's
we
that's crazy.
do we need food? No, we don't need food.
Well, you don't want to get snowed in without milk and bread and stuff, right?
It's one day, TJ. Saturday's going to be fine. You make it sound like we got. I got 2 fridges in this house. They're all stacked with food. My pantry's overflowing with goodies. I'm fine.
I think you'll be fine, Tim. It'll be good. Well, at least you'll have snacks for the game. Who would have thunk, Tim? The Steelers did the improbable. They took care of business with the Ravens. We'll talk about the Ravens game a little bit, winning 17-10. But then they got the help that they needed in the early game, so we didn't have to stay up late and lose our minds, Tim.
I was thinking about this, man. Can you imagine? Say Jacksonville did win that game, and we were watching that Miami game, and our season came down to a pass to Chase Claypool in double coverage they couldn't get on fourth down. That may have been shattering TV area. I would have been like that.
Yeah.
That sums up the whole entire everything, my whole entire life. An
Right.
incomplete pass to a double covered Chase Claypool where he jumped and he was 5 yards away from the ball. I'm like, but yeah, I mean,
Chase would finally, he just stick it to us one last time, wouldn't he?
I think I was more nervous watching the games on Sunday than I was the Steeler game on Saturday.
Really? You can kind of feel like that game Saturday. I mean, it was terrible conditions, stuff like that, but I didn't feel like at any moment the Steelers weren't going to win that game.
No, I don't know. Just watching those games Sunday, you're just going, especially that Titan game. You're like, dude, they're up by a million, and then Jacksonville starts coming back. You're going, this can't be real. I was like, I don't want to be up till 4 a.m. watching Miami. I just like, please don't let it come down to that. And
Trevor Lawrence, Tim,
stinks.
fraud. He's a fraud.
He's not. I agree, man. I don't know what's up with him, dude. I thought he was going to be a dude and a half. That dude stinks.
Fraud. He's a fraud. I mean, don't get me wrong. I
Fraudulent.
wouldn't mind seeing him in black and gold, but he's a fraud.
Oh, yeah, we say that now.
Yeah.
It'd be like he's our fraud.
That's right. We'll take him. Dang it. So the game was pretty good. We beat the Ravens. Obviously, they were resting a bunch of guys, but still, you got to get it done, man. The Ravens wanted to beat us, and so
Mhm.
they took care of business. A few little things that I was impressed with. I think even though he didn't put up any points at all, Mason Rudolph, 18 for 20, pretty accurate in awful conditions. Looked pretty good to me. I think did he have 2 fumbles or 1 fumble?
I agree. He looked okay, man, dude. That dude. I don't mind him staying in the pocket, but there's a point in time where you just don't stay in the pocket anymore. Just throw the ball away, dude. Just throw it away.
That's true. I appreciate his his fearlessness, but he's got to have a little bit more wisdom with that. But hey, he was still pretty accurate in a terrible day. And Deontay Dropsy Johnson He was like, it was like he had super glue on his hands. He looked
I
great.
was I was stunned when he caught that long touchdown that he didn't like catch it, turn around, try to run backwards, and then run forward again. I was stunned.
That's kind of like
Stunned.
that's his mojo a little bit. And how about Najee? Holy cow. He looks like he's getting stronger every week, doesn't he?
I'd give the ball to him 8 million times. Just a
Yeah.
million times. Don't do any
Yeah.
dancing left or right.
No.
Just when he caught that one ball on the check down, instead of
Yep.
turning it up, and he just run going, don't do just he should not run out of the tackle box at all. Just run
I agree.
straight ahead.
I agree. I saw that too. I saw he made that guy shout out run guys. Just turn it up, go north and south. That's all you got to do.
I don't see Derrick Henry running side to side. Just run the ball and go with you should go 4 inches to the right or 4 inches to the left and stay in that lane. That's it.
I'm with you. Dude, I'm totally with you. Now, again, the biggest thing that happened from the game, though, from us, we won, but we lost T.J. Watt for a game. Thank God it's something worse than what it is. But,
Yeah.
Obviously that impacts us. Now, I got to say this, though. I think we've got better depth at that position than we've had in a super long time. So, there's something about that young Herbig kid, man. He's quick.
A lot of people I get it. A lot of people are like, Herbert's going to have 15 sacks this next game. I don't know. Let's see. There's a reason why he's playing situational ball, and I get it, but let's hold our pants, man.
Yeah, no, it could have been devastating. So we got the victory. We got all the help we needed. Vrabel helped us out, and then he got fired, which is great. And what do you think? You think Vrabel's the favorite to be the Patriots' next head coach? Belichick got let go of today as well, or they parted ways.
I would think, man. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's crazy that Tennessee even got rid of him, which is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah,
I guess he'd be the front runner for New England.
I don't know. And even like Carroll shocked me in Seattle. Yeah, he's not a crummy coach, but I guess moving up in the front office. I forget he's in his 70s. He's not like
he isn't.
chicken.
If he has a chance of coaching again, he's going to go coach.
I think you're right. No, I think you're totally right.
But he is 100 years old. I don't know.
He is. He's old. So the Steelers, they took care of business this week, which is good. Tim, we have it's overtime for us. We're in the playoffs, baby.
Dude, this is unreal. This is unreal, unbelievable that we're talking about a playoff game after seeing this team. I don't know if I've been on a roller coaster like this in a full year in forever.
I know. It's been brutal. It has. And, I think, too, when you look at playoff matchups, and we'll talk about the Bills in a little bit, but when I look at the three teams that they would, it was either going to be the Bills, the Chiefs, or the Dolphins. I don't like the Dolphins because I don't like their speed. I just don't like their speed. I don't like their speed. Kansas City, even though they're not having a great year, they make me nervous. They always make me nervous. If I were to pick one of the three, I don't mind Buffalo because it depends on what Josh Allen you're going to get. If you get like the incredible Josh Allen, it's going to be a long day. If you get the Josh Allen that just chucks the ball up in the air and you never know what's going to happen, I think the Steelers have a decent shot, and they don't have a very good run defense either. But before we get into there, let's open up the Yinzer mailbag. You got the Yinzer mailbag. So basically, what is the Yinzer mailbag? It's when you, the Yinzer fans, get to ask the Yinzer Bros anything you want. It's playoff fever. Anything you want to ask us, we're here for you, baby. We're here for the people. Again, don't forget, this is an international podcast. We have one subscriber in Canada, so it makes it international. If you ever want to email us a question, you can email us at yinzerbros@gmail.com, and then we'll get back to you. Tim, what do we got on the Yinzer mailbag tonight?
Mark's got a lot of stuff in here. He was kind of mad that I read about 3 of his 15 questions last week, so we'll get into it a little bit here in the mush. Over-under was 9.5, as I recall. Was it? It was 8.5.
Yeah, that's true.
Tim predicted 11. TJ predicted 12. He wants to know, do total wins matter if you make the playoffs?
No, I think it's a fresh slate. Anybody can win.
Everybody's 0-0, so let's get this party going.
We're at the dance. There's a seat at the table, Tim. As long as we got a seat at the table, we can do anything. Right?
Could be drafted 22nd.
That's true. Now, don't forget this too. Now, again, this is before they had 7 teams. The Steelers have come from the 6th seed to hoist a Lombardi.
I agree. No, to me, it's 0-0 once you get in the dance. It doesn't matter. For me, I will say, maybe the regular season record was pretty good to get that magical 8.5 number. Me getting a 9.
Yeah.
kid's gonna have an extra stuffed animal when we go down to the Disney. So we're good to go.
Well, that's good. Now, I'll say this too. I don't expect a Bears fan to understand what it's like to have a seat at the table. It's been a
I
long time
love it.
since the Bears have
I
had a
love
seat
it.
at the
I
table.
love seeing it because to me, like my famous saying with all my Bears fans are wash, rinse, repeat. That's what they do. Wash, rinse, repeat.
You're right.
Just what they did with their coach. They got rid of their offensive coordinator. They kept their coach. They did the same thing when they had Lovey. They got rid of him. He was a lame duck coach for a year. Then they drafted Mitch. Then they
Oh,
had
he's awful.
then they had Nagy, but then they had Nagy and those guys for that time there. Then they brought him back for a lame duck for Mitch's last for when they brought Fields in. So they fired him after a year of Fields. They're just doing the same thing. It's been the same thing for 10 years. It's
That's true.
hilarious.
That's
They're,
true.
they're probably going to draft another quarterback with this lame duck coach. So when they stink next year because he's a rookie quarterback and they win 6 games and they fire everybody, they'll bring in a new regime, and that regime will be messed up. It's a cycle.
Wash,
They just
rinse,
continue,
repeat.
win, repeat. I laugh.
There you go.
I laugh. Okay, 3 of the 4 AFC North teams made the postseason. Was it considered the best division in football?
How can it not be?
I
mean, how
agree.
can it not be? I mean, and let's be real too. And within the AFC North too, just so, in case everybody listening, the Steelers were 5-1.
It's insane. That's an insane stat that
It
they were
is.
that in the division and they only have 10 wins. That's a crazy stat that they only have 10
It
wins
is.
and they're 5-1 in the division.
And 3 of those teams are in the playoffs, which is
And
absolutely nuts.
well, and the other one Cincinnati won 9 games, right?
Yeah. So
That's
I mean,
pretty crazy.
Cincinnati was a blink away from getting in 2.
That's crazy.
Steelers had one more win. Cincinnati has a win, and they're in.
Crazy to me. Yeah,
Has
best
there
division
ever
in
been
football.
a whole division that's made the playoffs before?
I don't think so, dude.
That'd be nuts.
That would be nuts.
Yep.
Wants to know, was this Coach T's finest coaching effort to squeeze 10 wins out of this team?
You know what? I have a mixed bag on that. I think he's done some things that were really good, and there's other things I just don't understand. Like I don't understand why Canada was here that long,
Mhm.
and then I also don't understand this. Gosh, if you're assessing QB talent, and Mason's doing pretty well now, and then
Mhm.
all the word on the street is from players and other guys that Mason has always been putting up pretty decent. He looks great. Why did it take so long to get him in? I mean, if you just flip out. You take Mason and you put him in those 3 games that Trubisky plays. Does Mason win one of those 3 games?
I think he does.
So I don't understand. But that being said, I don't know anybody. Is there anybody in the league as a coach that's better than circling the wagons and then just getting everything out of his guys? I don't think the Steelers. I mean, think about this. I don't think they have an awful roster. I mean, I think they're
No.
a QB away. What do you think?
I still think the year they had Duck and Mason was his best coaching effort. I mean, that team stunk, TJ. Was this good? Yeah, I'm with you. It's tough because you question why Canada was there that long. You question what is Mitch even doing on this roster? You're questioning Kenny. I mean, you question a lot of stuff like what were they doing? Why was Broderick Jones not starting from the get go?
Boy, he's a monster. Golly, he has added so much. Golly, him
Porter
and Washington. Holy cow!
and like why wasn't Porter playing as much?
Yeah, you're
I
right.
mean, there is some stuff you're kind of like I don't know, but I mean, it is one of his better ones. But
I think you're right. I think the Duck Hodges one was probably the best. I'm shocked. I mean, at some point he should have won Coach of the Year. I mean, that's just I don't know.
all right. So next one, who is your regular season Steeler MVP?
The regular season Steeler MVP. I mean, how could it not be T.J. Watt?
Of course, it's Watt. Man, he's a monster.
Yeah.
A monster. He's gonna get
And
robbed.
again, he did. Miles Garrett's the Defensive Player of the Year on this PFF grading scale is just ludicrous.
He
It's
wasn't
all
even
done in potential.
he wasn't even picked in the top 4 in the PAF All Pro team.
Don't understand it. It's just been
Crazy.
But of course, do you know where PFF headquarters is at?
Isn't it Collinsworth?
Ohio.
Collinsworth is the one who started PFF. Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah. It's Ohio. It's in Ohio.
Of course.
That's why it stinks.
Bunch of garbage. Um, and he wants to know who ended who ended the regular season year on my list. Number one on my list.
I'm going
On
to
the
say
Tim list. You can take a
I
guess.
would.
I'll tell you
I,
exactly who it is.
I'm going to guess. I think it's our punter.
After last game, he surpassed 29.
Yeah,
Uh
he would have to.
yeah.
I mean, have you ever seen? You talk about a colossal disappointment.
I
We don't
mean,
have a great left tackle either, but I'm saying, but the punter is a colossal disappointment.
he stinks, TJ. He
He does.
stinks.
That they brought Wingen this week, thank God,
I'm kind of
because
curious why they brought him in because to me it's like, is he actually going to play? Are they going to play him? You gonna have Kazoons to play him?
I think you have to, because it can't be worse than Harvin,
I
can
think
it?
the only reason why they're keeping Harvin because he can hold on extra points well. That's my god awful opinion. I'm being very truthful with it. Like I think because he's an excellent holder for Boswell because he can't
He's got
punt.
it. No, he can't punt at all. I mean, that was so. Especially if you're talking about inclement weather and field position is a big thing. He cannot be your punter. He can't be.
But
I
in a game
understand
like
last week was
but in
tough,
a
but
game like but a game like this, aren't you just like don't worry about where it goes. Just punt it as far as you can.
yeah, and he
Just
can't
punt
do
it as
that.
far as you can.
He can't do that. He just can't do that. I think
Like, dude
I
averaged like 70 yards a punt when he was in college. Like, how can you cannot? How did you just lose it?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry. I think the experiment's got to be over.
I'm
They
watching
got
these
to pick up
college
somebody else.
punters. I'm watching these college punters punt the ball 85 yards. I'm going, what the hell is going on?
I'm with you. I think he stinks. So who's your list guy? Is it him? Is it somebody else?
Oh, it's him. It's 100% Harvin. I mean, it's 100% Harvin.
Isn't
Oh,
it great to not have to worry about? I mean, you don't want that guy to be a D back. You don't want that guy to be
how
a safety.
how did you think about? I mean, how did you think about that? Was an old kick and big fella's teeth seeing Terrell Edmonds get a pick for the Tennessee Titans.
Hey! You know what? There's love there, baby. There's love there.
I immediately took him. I immediately took him off the list. I wrote him a
Take
hand.
him off the list.
I wrote him a handwritten note to say, "Hey, you are off the list." Mailed it, everything. It was crazy. I was sitting there
We
going.
got.
I used an ink quilt pen and just wrote a thank you note to Terrell Edmonds saying, "Hey, you have graduated off the list."
Hey,
Still don't want him back with Steelers.
side note, real quick. So even with we're getting our safeties back, but
Yeah.
do you? How much do you really mess with what's going on right now? They play. I know
I put all
Mika
the
goes in.
safeties. Oh, yeah. What do you do? Just leave Minka. You
No,
stay on the
Mika
bench.
goes in. Yeah, but I mean they perform pretty well.
I put all safeties, and I take out the linebackers. Just run all safeties.
You could do that.
Just run all safeties. Put Kazizi back there. Put Rowe's not fast anyways.
No, he's not.
He's great at tackling. Just put him in as a linebacker. Just be like, hey,
Yeah.
here. What happened to
I'll tell you what.
Keanu Neal?
Keanu Neal. He did
He
he
hurt
get
his
hurt?
knee like 8 months ago, and he just never came back. He was on IR, just
No,
never came back.
well, he's done. Yeah, he tore something.
I don't think he tore something. They never said he tore something. He was just
Oh
he had a
no!
knee.
They released him. Didn't they release him?
No.
He
Keanu
and
Neal
they
was real
released him.
pretty dude, real pretty safety dude. They got from Tampa Bay.
I think they released him, dude.
They
I think
did.
they did.
He hurt a knee. They put him on IR, but they didn't say it was like torn or ACL or just a knee. You just
Uh,
never hear from him again.
maybe
Got
I
a
don't know.
knee.
Maybe he's done. There's no room in the end for him. I guess
Mm.
we don't look backwards. We don't look forward. The standard is a standard, Tim.
All right. So let's go. Next question. Is the only way the Steelers can beat the Bills? We'll get into that because I don't. We'll get into the Bills
Yeah,
talks
yeah.
about how we're going to play them and stuff like that. Especially that stuff. He's asking about the heroes of the game, which we'll get into. I'll get into later. I want to save that for our game predictions.
Yeah. We gotta save that.
Okay. He goes, if I told you the Steelers are going to the AFC Championship game versus the upstart Houston Texans, is he crazy? Yeah, you're batshit crazy, Mark.
Well, you got to think this. I mean, if we beat Buffalo, we're going to Baltimore.
TJ, if they have to play Houston to go to the Super Bowl, with me and you just book our tickets right now because they're headed to the Super Bowl.
Well, you got to think this. If Houston goes, they would have had to run through. Who are they playing this week? Miami, or is
They're
it
playing the
KC?
Browns.
Oh, they'll play the Browns. So I mean, the Browns aren't a terrible team. They beat the Browns,
TJ,
and then
TJ, I'm sick and tired of people telling me the Browns are good. They're not.
I didn't say good.
When
I said they're just not terrible.
no. When Flacco took over for that team, look at the teams they played the past 4 weeks. They
they
sucked, and they should have lost 2 of them. They should have lost against the Bears. They lost to somebody else. Don't worry, that pumpkin is about to burst. That bubble's going to go like this.
But they'll have the defensive player of the year there, just to wave them.
Nothing would please them more. They get that, and we somehow beat Buffalo, and they're getting yacked out by Houston. I'm like, oh, what happened to you guys? What happened?
I don't think we're going to beat. I don't think we're going to beat Houston. No.
I think we could beat you if we play Houston in the AFC title game.
Oh no, I think we can beat Houston. I don't think we're going to meet Houston. Yeah,
I'm telling you now.
If we get there.
If we somehow get to the AFC title game, it tells me we are scorching the earth hot. Yeah. We will be in the Super Bowl.
I think it sounds crazy. And again, the weather's going to be weird, but if we come out of Buffalo with a win, who's hotter than us right now at this time?
Nobody.
I mean, you're talking about we're stacking wins, baby. I mean, we got a lot of momentum. It's a lot of times when you get hot is big. Here's the opposite. Look at the Eagles. The Eagles fell out of the sky.
They stink. The Eagles stink.
Dude, seriously, they're getting ready to run him out of town. But that's
Eagles stink. All right, I'm going to kind of read this. I don't know how I'm because. Who is celebrating the departure more of Bill Belichick, the Pats or the Yinzer brothers or Coach T?
The Yinzer brothers.
I agree.
I mean, let's just believe this. He was a boogeyman, but let's. I mean, again, to me, in my head, he is like he's no different than like than Bonds. He's no different than. I mean, he's a cheater face. The first 3 years he got there, the first 3 bowls he got, the Spygate's a big deal. I'm sorry. He got fined $500,000. Think about that. $500,000 for what he did. Now, I get all the stuff. He's a great coach. How great was he? Was it him? Was it Brady? Was it a combination of both? I mean, come on. And I'm sorry, his personality, he's got the personality of like, I don't know, strychnine. It's just terrible. Take your thing somewhere else.
I get it, but man, dude, he beat us with crappy teams too. They beat us the past 2 years with dirt poop teams too. They just
that.
He outcoaches us every single.
So you always have you have a team that you struggle with. Like for example, there's no reason on earth why Lamar Jackson should have as much problems with the Steelers as he does, but he does. Have you seen his percentages against us compared to the rest of the whole freaking league? It's absolutely ridiculous. But he does. I think Belichick's just got our number. I think he's in our head. I think that's part of it too. And I just don't like – I mean, we have knighted him the greatest coach that ever lived. Since Brady, what has he done?
They've been to the playoffs a couple of times.
I mean, he's under 500. I mean, what's he done? And I think – and people forget this. Before Brady, he was the coach of what team, Tim? The Cleveland Browns. And you know what they did?
He was the coach of the Jets for a day.
He was for a day. And, and they got rid of him. You know why? Even the Browns every once in a while. But I think the year they got rid of him, they had like 10 wins. Yeah, it was terrible. Do you know who his assistant was?
It was the Alabama guy, Nick Saban.
Nick Saban. Think about this. The Browns organization fired Belichick and Saban on the same year.
And you want me to say to you that the Browns are dangerous? That franchise is never dangerous.
No, they're just
poop.
idiots.
I can't wait till next year when they're going to be like, oh, what do we do now? We got Deshaun Watson. We got to pay that dirty human being $8 million. Or we got to pay Joe Flacco. I hope Flacco's on the roster next year with Deshaun Watson because none's gonna please me more when Deshaun Watson's playing and everybody in that stands in Cleveland's gonna be going Flacco. I'm gonna be like, serves you guys right, you scumbags.
It does. You talk about the worst. So is that contract in NFL history?
Is it the worst contract in NFL history?
Yeah, Deshaun Watson.
Kent Graham's was the worst contract in NFL history because
he stole money from us.
He stole money directly from Tom Harris's pocket. from his hard working pocket from Alcoa. He took hardcore money from his pocket.
Yeah, he did. Anything else
Is
in the
it?
Yinzer mailbag?
No, there's he has a bunch of stuff that we'll get into later with the. I think it will
with the Bills?
answer some of those questions in the game.
The
talk.
breakdown.
The breakdown, yeah.
So again, if you got any questions for the Yinzer Bros, just email us at yinzerbros@gmail.com, and we'll get you on our podcast. Let's talk about the Bills now, Tim. Tim, it's a David and Goliath showdown. Nobody's giving us a chance, Tim.
Dude, I immediately 10-point hammered it. I brought a big hammer out, and I went to the computer. Hammer.
There's no respect. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Usually those guys in Vegas know something way better than what me or you know.
I get that, but I mean, let's be real. I mean, the when you look at the Bills, they were kind of like dead in the water for a while too. They got a little bit hot toward the end. There was a chance that they weren't even going to make the playoffs. I mean, it was that tight.
What gets me nervous about the Bills is, man, I made the statement, I think, when they were fluttering. If the Bills get in, I thought I made it on the podcast at one point. I said,
if the
Bills get in, I think not only they are representing the AFC in the Super Bowl, they're going to win the Super Bowl. So right now, I got to cheer against what I predicted, which is that's a hard play, a hard rock to be at for me.
It is, Tim. It is. I think it all comes down to Allen, which Allen you're going to see, and even their last wins down the stretch. There were a few games that they could have lost a couple of those games, and again, even with Miami's defense was incredibly depleted, and boy, I tell you what, man. I expect a little bit more now. Again, so we'll talk about them. They've got, obviously you've got McDermott, and he's a defensive mastermind. He's a defensive coach. Yeah, he's a terrorist. So so their total defense is solid. Now their run defense is 28th in the league, which is not great. So that matches up good with us.
But let me ask you a question: is it 28th in the league? Because, well, I guess that wouldn't make sense in my brain. I'm thinking of the 20th in the league because they have leads and people are passing on them, so that would make their pass defense worse. Are they 20th in the league? Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know why they're 28th in the league. I really don't.
So you can run on them. I mean, that's the thing. So if you want to keep the ball out of a high-powered offense, I mean, you want to be able to run on them. So I think the defense could post. They got a really good pass rush, which is decent, but they're not great against the run. So I don't know about that. So do they scare you? I mean, defensively, do you think the Steelers can run on them? Do you think they can put up points?
Brother, I mean, and I hate to say, hey, weather. If it is as bad as it's supposed to be, that tells me that you're not going to have the luxury of Buffalo playing a cover 2 shell. It's kind of like Baltimore did, took Pickens out the game. Mm-hmm. There's going to be 9 men in the box. And I don't think with the weather, you're going to be able to, it's like Pickens, those guys are going to be a factor. So it's going to be tough sledding to run against them, period. To me, if you got 9 men in the box, you're not going to have a passing game. If the weather kind of breaks like it should, or hopefully wind keeps down, you're able to keep 2 guys out, I think the running game will be more effective. I don't know, dude. I mean, you're going to have to run the ball. You're going to have to. You figure something out. Figure it out.
You know who I think is going to be huge in this game? Freiermuth. Because I think, you're talking about dump passes. And again, it's not that you can't pass, but here's the reality. They're talking about wind gusts that could be 50 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. At 50, I know Allen's got a huge arm, but 50 miles an hour is 50 miles an hour. I mean, you're a human.
But I get that, but on the flip side, I mean, the reason why the offense has looked so good the past couple of weeks is because the threat of Pickens catching a 50-yard bomb, that's going to be out of the question. So it's like –
I agree. No. I agree. So I think this from a defensive standpoint, I mean, their defense doesn't scare me as much. And I got to say this too. Again, like you're right, depending on the weather conditions, I think the Steelers have shown that if they got to put up some points, they can. Now, again, I think the weather's going to kill everybody. So if we flip to the offense now, I mean,
get it. I get what you're saying but there's a difference between rain and snow and wind. Wind is a big difference, man. To me, it's like, at least when you had Ben back in the day, you knew if it was windy. just like Allen. Like I said, I think with the wind
They
affecting
got
it,
big
maybe,
arms.
maybe not. He can throw the ball so hard he can cut through the air.
Yeah.
So I
So I
mean,
mean, Mason's got a decent arm. Does he have a big enough arm to get the ball through the air? I don't think Kenny does.
I think Mason has a good arm when you're talking about deep balls, but they're up high. Kind of like how's a Russell Wilson, or even what's the guy from Cincinnati way back in the day, the quarterback. He would throw the deep ball and kind of
Blake.
just it
Yeah,
would just
Blake.
land in. I
Yep.
think that, but you're not going to be able to do that in the wind. You know,
No, no.
you got to be able to cut it through 25 yards of.
Yeah.
You can't put air underneath it. You got to cut it in there. I don't know if Mason has the arm even to do that.
No. But I think, this may lend itself to, I mean, remember Pickens, the first catch he had against Cincinnati, it's a quick little slant. I mean, so maybe if they're saying their passing game is going to be within 5 to 10 yards, I don't know how they do it, but when you get the ball, I mean, Deontay is shifty to get open,
Yeah.
but Pickens, he has another gear and a level of separation. So let me ask you a question: Do you think that you know, is it possible? Do you think Porter Jr. is going to shut down Ty Higgins? You Ty Higgins out of the game.
Not Ty
I mean, they
Higgins. You
got
mean Diggs? You mean Diggs?
Ty. Yeah, I'm sorry, Diggs. Do you think? I mean, I know they got some decent tight ends, but you take him out of the game. That's the deep threat. You know.
You
Well, I
know what
mean,
I would do? You know what also what I would do, dude? And this may sound weird to you. I would double Diggs and leave Porter Jr. on the other guy, man up and take him out. That's how I would kind of attack it. So you're taking Diggs away with the double team, and you have on the other side Porter manning a guy up, which hopefully gets no catches. So you better be able to stop the run defense. I mean, you could still double up if you have if you're running a three shell deep, you're still gonna have
yeah,
a fairly tight box. You know, do that. But again, what makes me nervous as God is Allen's rushing ability and the tight ends. Their tight
yeah,
ends are good.
yeah. Well, you mentioned this earlier. This might actually be a good week to bring in that three safety look because you throw a safety on one of those tight ends when they release, and I mean they're way better than having one of our linebackers cover. I don't know. Maybe that's part of it too. And you did bring up something good too. Mason or not Mason, excuse me, Allen is a great runner.
Yeah.
And he's a hoss, so I can see a lot of designed runs right from the quarterback. Mason is a statue, so you're not going to get anything out of him.
The Steelers are
And
going to have to, when he runs, they have to punish him. I don't care. Punish him every single way, Paul. He's a big dude. Punish him. There better be a dude grabbing him, holding him up, another dude coming in and clearing house. If you got to take a couple
yeah,
personal foul penalties, take them.
yeah,
You got to pound Allen,
yeah.
pound him.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Um, I think this could be a very interesting game with snow and stuff like that. It's the great equalizer, and if the Steelers could figure out a way to get through these guys, and I don't think it's I'm listening to national radio and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, the Steelers don't have a chance." I don't think it's that far away. And then again, if they get through and they get to play, the Ravens, even the Ravens have been, they've been juggernauts coming down to the thing, but we have a good matchup with them. I mean, the Ravens always struggle a little bit with us, so I
To
don't
me,
know.
if
I mean,
if if they win this one playoff game against the Bills and they end up getting pummeled by the Ravens, I'm okay. I think it's a successful season. You got a playoff win underneath your belt. You went further than you did, and you kind of showed life. But I agree with you. I mean, it, the Raven game would all depend on T.J. Watt. If that dude is back
yeah,
and they get out of this game fairly healthy, and you have Minka, T.J., Kim, you got that defense fairly healthy, and Mason's playing. They're a team that I do not want to play. I'm just
no,
if I'm the Ravens, I wouldn't want to. But if I'm the Ravens, I wouldn't want to see. And I wouldn't want to see Buffalo or Pittsburgh at the
yeah,
AFC. Those are the two teams right now. Because if the Pittsburgh does win, you got a handful come back if T.J. Watt's there. If Buffalo wins, they're not going to see them. They would probably end up seeing the winner of Houston. Once say Houston, Cleveland, which I
yeah.
don't think
Houston,
Baltimore
Cleveland.
really would care either one of those two
No,
teams. So,
wouldn't it be great though? Wouldn't it be great? As much as Cleveland drives me nuts, wouldn't there be some type of divine justice for Flacco with Cleveland to take Baltimore out?
it would never happen, TJ. Would never happen.
Wouldn't it be nuts?
Wouldn't happen. Wouldn't happen. The TJ,
Dude, they make a Disney movie out of that if that happened.
TJ. I don't care if Jesus Christ himself's playing quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. They're still going to end up getting heartbroken and lose.
Well, I'm not saying they get to the end. I'm saying wouldn't it be great? They
No,
beat the Ravens.
the
Nothing can stop us now, and then they lose.
no. I mean, what would happen is they would be up by 20 points, and somehow they would lose in heartbreaking fashion in the fourth quarter because Flacco would throw 14 picks in the fourth quarter.
No, he's not the greatest. So when you look at it, who is your who is going to be your well, let's do score predictions, and we'll do players of the game. What do you think the score is going to be this juggernaut in this whiteout, this possible whiteout?
TJ, I mean, I can't. To me, I think it's going to be this is going to be a crazy score. I think it's going to be 14-10. I just can't see the Steelers win this game. I don't know why. I want to pick them, but I just can't. I think 14-10 Buffalo.
14-10. I'm going to go slightly different, and I'm with you. I think it's going to be weird. I'm going to say uh, 16-10 Steelers, and I think the Steelers are going to get. I think they're going to live on. I think Boswell's going to have a good game. I think it's just going to be a.
How is
It's going to
Boswell
be
going to have? How is Boswell going to have a good game if winds are blowing around 50 miles an hour?
I
I mean,
think
how's
they're
it
just.
possible, TJ?
I think they're going to. I think they're going to get close. I think they're going to get close enough. I think if you're close enough, it doesn't matter for these guys. But I think they're going to get close, and I mean, I just think we've not seen Allen yet. When the pressure hits him, he
Yeah.
gets sloppy. I mean, and it's like, he reminds me a little bit of Lamar. I mean, I'm still not knighting, I'm not going to knight the Ravens till Lamar shows me he can win games in the playoffs. I mean, something happens.
If TJ was playing this game, I think I would pick the Steelers. I just think people are putting their hopes way too. I think Herbig is going to be okay. He's a backup for a reason. I think people are expecting him to have 2 or 3 sacks like TJ Watt and impact the game like TJ Watt. I just don't. I don't see that. Put it this way: if Herbig even gets to Allen outweighs him by 35 pounds, 40
Oh, he
pounds.
does. Yeah, he does.
So to me, it's like you can get there, but can you get him down?
So the one thing that intrigues me about Herbig. Now, I like Golden too. I think Golden's he's stout. If you see like the play where he did the strip sack, was it against Huntley, right? Against Huntley this week.
No,
Um,
that was against Geno Smith.
oh, against Geno Smith, you're right. He beat a double team. He split a double team, and then he came around and he didn't go to take. Geno Smith is not a teeny guy either, but
Yeah.
he's not as big as Allen. He didn't go to put him down. He went for the ball. He has, and I forget the stat when we drafted him. He has a lateral. They do some type of lateral measurement for quickness, and his lateral measurement is the same as an elite wide receiver.
But here's my thing, and I get what you guys are saying, and I get what you're saying, but to me, with Allen, which is different from Geno Smith or some other guy, those ends are coming up and they're putting pressure on the outside. Unlike Geno Smith, if Allen sees that crease, he's taking he's running. So to me,
I think they take the Lamar Jackson approach. I think you bottle him in that thing. I think you get Benton and you get Cam and you say, guys, that middle, he's going to have nowhere to run. So I think it's going to be up to these guys to seal the sides.
I think you got to not only do that, but I think you got to bring blitz pressure right up the gut. You got to send linebackers and send D-backs, disguise blitzes, but you got to do it from the gut. But then again, if you miss, you're dead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now he's not Lamar Jackson, but he's a heavy runner. But I think this too. I think you're right. You made a good point earlier on. If he's running, he's taking abuse.
You got to hit him.
Yeah, you can only take so much abuse. And as a quarterback, I understand you're a big, strong guy, but it takes one pop. You take something off the shoulder a little bit weird. Now, again, who knows how much he's going to throw? I don't know. And again, it depends on of all the quarterbacks that are left. Okay, like the elite quarterbacks. Mahomes. You know what you get with Mahomes. That's why I'm nervous about Mahomes because he's battle tested in the playoffs.
I get it, but he's got like me and you. You got dudes like me and you catching balls right now.
I totally get that. But when you look at those quarterbacks, the elite quarterbacks, and he's in the thing of elite quarterbacks, is there a better or a bigger, more Jekyll and Hyde than him?
And I get what you're saying, but the thing is, what's scary about him, he could throw you 3 picks, but he could also throw you 3 picks and that won't affect them in the game, and they'll still be in a game when they
Well,
should be getting blown out.
I get
Because
that. Under
he's a
normal
double-edged
conditions, he
sword.
could do that. He
I
could
get you.
do that. But if the conditions aren't normal and you can't get the ball down the field, those picks or giving up the ball, that's absolutely devastating and crucial, because if you can't chuck the ball 50 yards, you take his big arm out of the equation. Now,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I agree with you. I think he can run and do all that stuff still, and that makes him dangerous and scary. But you know what? I don't. I mean, when you look at their running game, and it's not awful, but isn't that always been the Achilles heel of Buffalo? They don't have a heavy running game to match him.
But I think this year when they did run the ball
Hmm.
and not act like idiots and pass it every play, they were able to run the ball. I think Cook was averaging like 5 yards a clip.
Yeah,
They
I
got to
get
run.
it.
They got.
I get it. So I just think, I mean, which running attack is scarier to you?
Oh, right now the Steelers running attack is way more scarier. But I mean,
Actually, you know what I'm a little nervous about? And again, maybe it was just the rain,
Jalen
but
Warren not holding on to the ball.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
In the snow and stuff, I just get nervous with that, because he's a littler dude, and that ball security is a big deal.
So if the Steelers win, who's your player? I mean, you got them winning. Who's your offensive player of the game?
I don't know how you can go. I think we're going to live and die on Najee. I think he's going to be the guy. I think if he has like you remember when Le'Veon Bell had that game against them a couple years ago? I
Yeah,
think,
300, like the 300-yard game.
yeah, I think if he runs for north of 130 yards, I can't see how the Steelers haven't won, because there's ball control and stuff like that. And I think it's possible. I think he breaks out there. He starts getting balls, getting runs at 7 to 8 yards a clip. And then maybe he breaks a couple for 20, or, whatever it is. Um, I think then again, you make them load up the box like crazy. And I think Mason's going to have one or two. Again, I don't think they're going to be big pops. But again, George Pickens, if you can get him the ball in space and he can outrun somebody with a 7 yard pass, a 5 yard pass, I don't see any reason why they can't be making these quick little dump passes again. But it could be like wins we've never seen. So I'm going to go with Najee. Who's your guy?
If they win, Najee needs to have a big game. But to me, it's Freiermuth because he's going to have to. I don't think their linebackers can cover him, and I think
Yeah,
they
I
have to
agree.
do something to loosen up that box somehow, some way. So a couple. I think it may be Pat Freiermuth would be a. Again, I think Najee needs to have over 100 yards. They're even smelling about a victory, but Freiermuth needs to have 50, 60 yards because I think that
Yeah,
will loosen up Najee. They'll work. They'll work. I guess hand in hand. I guess what you're saying.
yeah. If you're looking at defense, who do you think is going to come up big for the defense for the Steelers?
Man, for them to succeed, I think defensively wise, um, I think Minka has to have. I don't know what his health is like, but he needs to have a Minka game.
Yeah, I agree.
He needs to have impact something because I think he's going to be the one shadowing the tight ends,
Yeah,
or he's going to be the one shadowing, spying on Allen.
yeah,
So to me, Minka's got to do Minka things,
I agree.
and we haven't seen it all year. And I'm hoping to God he's healthy enough. He doesn't look like, from what I've seen in practice, that his hand's a club anymore. So I think that's finally healthy.
Yeah,
But just his knee, I don't know. But Minka has to have a Minka type game for me. So Minka would be my dude.
yeah, I'm going to agree with you, and I'm gonna throw this down too. I think he comes down heavy in the box too, which is good. He's not just a guy, just a center field guy. He comes down and he brings the wood when he comes. He's my guy too. I think Mika has got to have a great game. I would be. I'll tell you what, man.
I think Benton and Obenjobi. One of those, somebody in that defensive front also has to have a big game because they got to
Yeah,
get pressure up. They have to get pressure up the middle. I don't
yeah,
care what court. I don't care who you're playing. You could be playing Tom Brady.
yeah,
Pressure up the middle. I don't care what quarterback it is. It destroys you.
yeah. I agree. I'll tell you, You talk about the Steelers draft class this year. They hit
Insane.
pretty well. I mean, this is going to be one. This is a building team. They can get another one like this next year, or even close to this next year. Holy cow. So I don't know. We'll see where it's at. So again, we'll be like everybody else watching the game. Hopefully on Sunday at 1. They've been talking about maybe moving it. We'll see, but hopefully they won't.
Can you? I heard this. I heard something about them talk about moving it to Cleveland. Can you
I
imagine
heard that
that?
too. So that would be nuts. That would be absolutely
We
insane.
would
But
we would we would be the first team in that stadium that had a playoff game. Cleveland's never played a playoff game in that stadium because they've been in
That's
existence.
true.
You know, but it'd be like
That's
kicking the balls. That would be if the Steelers went up there and beat Buffalo and Cleveland.
That'd be great.
It'd be hilarious.
That would be great. I think unless it's completely ridiculous, they're going to
No.
have it in Buffalo.
TJ, I don't care what the winds are. I don't care how much snow you're going to get unless they come out and the federal government says, hey, you can't drive from point A to B. That game's going to be played in Buffalo, and it's going to be I would get more worried about having to play that in Kansas City. Seems like it's going to be even worse.
Yeah, it's going to be really cold there. It's going to be nasty.
It's like negative 35 degrees. Like
yeah.
Humans shouldn't be out doing anything when it's negative 35, 40 degrees outside.
Oh, that's true. So we'll know by Sunday what's going on, and you'll get to hear from us. Hopefully, it'll be a victory podcast next week. But
if they don't win, you won't hear from us until draft weekend. Or either that or something crazy like Tomlin walks away, and next thing you know, we got some buffoon as our coach.
Oh, that'd be awful. That would be awful. I don't know. You said so. He's now the longest tenured coach in the league.
Don't you get that? I have that feeling in the back of my gut that after this game, if they lose, he is going to walk away. I just have that. I have that gut feeling.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he will. I'd be shocked if he did, but you never know. He'd be a good analyst. I do know that. You get him on like, you never know.
I don't want that to be my prediction to curse the team, but I have a feeling that he may walk away after this year.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they bring in, they clean in house. And again, maybe Rooney's going to say, like, you know what, we had a good run. But I think he's got one more year in his contract, doesn't he?
That's why I say I think he's going to walk away on his own terms to say, I want out.
Either he'll do that if he gets an extension. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. All right. That's it for the Yinzer Brothers today. I'm TJ with my brother Tim. We're the Yinzer Bros. If you like what you hear, tell all your friends, your neighbors, even your enemies. Tell them. Again, we're the Yinzer Bros. Stay classy, Pittsburgh.
I'm one game away from getting this bad boy signed. Number 1 in here, all right?
All right. See you.